Mommy, I video, I video.
Stop and confront, please. Mommy, go into the vehicle.
You call them anytime.
Go into the vehicle. Mommy, say go.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to the forest.
Okay.
Go into the vehicle.
No, going on a vehicle.
Why are you vehicle?
Let go from me here.
Mommy, why is that? She not know right now? She let go from my ear. Go into the vehicle. Mommy, go into the vehicle. Mommy, relax. Relax.
Alright guys, I need your help with two things. First of all, hit the subscribe button to help us grow. Thank you. Now the second one, help me understand this video. It seems it's between a police officer and a lady she's trying to arrest. Now this police officer is also a female, and I've watched this footage a number of times and I still can't appreciate everything about it. From the perspective of the police officer, right down to the perspective of the lady resisting the arrest, as it seems. Help me understand this in the comment section. Just let's have a discussion, because I've seen a lot of arrest footages, but this particular footage is looking like it might just be able to win the 2024 award for the worst arrest in history, or maybe for the most stubborn suspect in history of policing. Now, before I get into the details of it, let's go and watch the full footage, and then I'll come back with my 2 cents or more.
Mommy, I video. Stop and confront, please. Mommy, go into the vehicle.
You call them anytime.
Go into the vehicle. Mommy, say go.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to the forest.
Okay.
Go into the vehicle.
No, going on a vehicle.
Why are you vehicle?
Let go from me here.
Mommy, why is that? She not know right now? She let go from my ear. Go into the vehicle. Mommy, go into the vehicle. Mommy,
Relax. Let go from me here.
Mommy,
She asked me so.
Mommy, let go, mommy. Who want to know what? Officer.
Just go in the vehicle.
No, but she mommy. Put up his arm.
Let go from me.
Mommy, stop it, mommy. Just go. Mommy, here. No, here, you guys are mad and go. Stop it, man.
Hello, she come out and she say,
Just relax now,
Nobody. Mommy, stop it, man. Mommy.
Go in that vehicle. You have to go in that vehicle.
Hey, officer, just release her here.
Release the woman, she under
I want
arrest.
to see her, she under arrest. I'm military, I'm going to see her for clothes. I want to see me.
now you come grab me,
Go in
boss.
that vehicle.
Go in the vehicle.
And you come trouble me first. So if the lady can talk to you, she asked someone, she said, come on, like, come on.
And you're pointing on my face, so we tell her, don't point on
Me
me.
didn't lick you. They asked
Someone that
me.
is an assault,
They asked me
and
lick
I'm
you.
going to ensure that I charge for everything.
I don't care.
Good. Go into the vehicle. Mommy, just Mommy, you're just making things worse. Relax. Jesus Christ.
She asked me so what kind of work I am. I said I can not from here to this store. You come out in a house. You're not supposed to disclose my job to you.
There's someone standing down there.
You're not here. You're not here. Are you come with me first? You never did trouble you.
There's someone standing down there.
Yes, I come out and come home and I said, me and the lady I got 3 days to come lick me. Me never lick you.
I like this way. You like here? I like it.
Mommy, relax. So whether you take it or not, you're gonna have to go in the people.
Leg off
So
of
I
me
say
ear.
relax yourself on the
Let go off of me ear.
Oh, she will release it here if you don't give her the
So release your hand, release your hand. Release your hand from your hand.
She's gonna release you.
Release it. Sir, and you make sure say I have no money for buy back my chain. Just make sure I am broke. Realize. You realize. How is she making the deal? Ow! Where back, Mr. Girl? Something enough. I forgot uncle or something.
tie strap.
Let go from it.
Yeah, uncle, man.
Let go from it. You can't drive so let go from it. She'll make it crash.
Yeah. We need a tie strap or something.
She alone can't go in there. She'll make it crash. But you might see him. Let go from it. Let your bike. Let your bike. Let go from it.
Okay, welcome back. You've seen the footage now, right? Now tell me what you think. You know, I have my own perspective and 2 cents on this, but I'm not even sure if I appreciate what is going on. First of all, how come this statement is happening? If she's truly a police officer, and I think she is, I don't think this is a staged thing. It seems intense and quite real. Now, if that is what it actually is, then the question is, how come the suspect has been able to get to the point where she's putting hands on the police officer? And it seems like the suspect is ready to get into it fully with this police officer. Now, mind you, the police officer is also a female, whilst the suspect is also a female. So it's a female versus female thing. And nobody seems to be backing down. So there's a deadlock. But then, how did we get here? I am expecting that at a point in time, this suspect should also realize that everything that she's doing, it's adding up to whatever reason for which she's being picked up by the police. So laying hands on the police officer, heckling and all, that could also add up to the charge sheet in the form of extra charges that might be leveled against her. But from the look of things, I don't think that she is looking at it from that objective perspective. So, well, I'm excused. She should excuse me, and I understand. Because sometimes it's easy to sit back and analyze and talk all the seeming common sense you think you have. But in the thick of the action, sometimes it's not that easy to reason in that direction. Now, with regards to this female police officer, where are her handcuffs? I believe that could have, at least, prevented it from getting to the extent it got to. I am not an expert on police protocols. This is in another country. From their accent, I think it might be in Jamaica or maybe the neighboring countries thereabout. And I don't know anything about how their policing works, their policing protocols and standards, code of ethics. I don't know. All I know is a police officer and a suspect shouldn't get to this point. I think that is a global standard for policing. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm expecting that if that is possible, then at least she should have applied the handcuffs. But well, looking at how adamant this suspect is and defiant as she is, I'm sure she would have actually resisted the handcuffs being strapped on her wrists. So it still might not have been enough. But then, there is actually a second police officer, a man for that matter. And I'm sure some of us were wondering, how come he is looking on whilst this is happening? Was he even looking on in the first place, or he was engaged in something else? I couldn't clearly establish that, but at the point I saw him come in the footage. And I'm expecting that he should have intervened. I'm sure the police have a certain level of extent they could go to restrain such a recalcitrant suspect if she is one, such that the suspect shouldn't be able to go to the extent that this seeming suspect is going to. And I'm expecting that the man should have intervened. He would have been able to assist his fellow female police officer to subdue, for a lack of a better word, this seeming suspect. And it wouldn't have gotten to the extent it got to. But I'm sure that in the world of suspects, in the world of convicts, in the world of people who were arrested and have a beef with the police, they are actually probably rooting for this lady, for the defiance she put up against the police. I have never seen such a thing before. And I don't know, but it looks like this arrest might win the 2024 award for the worst arrest in history, the most controversial arrest in history, and the best collaboration between a police officer and a key suspect or a suspect intended to be arrested. I don't know. I'm just trying to look at the funny side of it, but on the serious side of it, I think that the police officer should have exercised a bit of a restraint and found a better way to restrain the suspect and get her to wherever they needed to get her to. At the point, it got to a point that I think the suspect got injured, and I felt that it shouldn't get to that point. At the point, the police officer was even putting hands on this suspect. And, well, like I said, I'm not the expert on policing, but I think that could be constituted as police brutality. Correct me if I'm wrong, or concur if I'm right. But you watch the footage too. What did you see wrong with this footage? Let's have a comment in the comment section. Do you think it's even real or is staged? I think it's real. But if it happens to be staged, then I think these are very excellent actors, because at the point one was even bleeding, the suspect. But all in all, I think policing should up their game. If this is the standard of policing at whichever country this took place at. Subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do so. Turn on the post notifications. I'll catch you on the next one.